Hello, hello. It's kind of different being on a Thursday.
I'm going to move you. I need you. Aren't you normally up at the top?
Wherever. Oh, don't put me first.
Aren't you normally there? Or are you on the side?
It doesn't matter. Can you make him big?
I'm already big. You ain't gonna make me no bigger.
There we go.
I like it. Now you won't see me glitching as bad this week.
There we go.
Because where'd she go?
Uh-oh. You didn't kick her out, did you?
No. She has problems sometimes keeping a signal every once in a while, but It seems like she's having all kinds of technical difficulties tonight. Just hopefully my screen can cooperate, because that's the only thing that, glitching. We got a couple people in here, you guys. If you're hopping in, you're going to hang out with us. Can you leave us a comment? Let us know you're in here, or let us know where you're watching from. But I had to hit the go live button because our hey Andrew, how are you?
Oh, see, speak of the devil. That's my brother right there.
Hey, well, good. We got somebody in here. Charlie's on his way home from work, so I don't know if he's going to be able to hop in and watch us or not. But so there we go. PB Catfishing, Paul, what's up? And 922 Crappie Barbecue. Oh boy, you girls desperate. Oh, we got some friends of our guest in here, I can tell.
Yeah.
So
I can't see chat. So if y'all are messing with me in chat, I can't read it anyway. So just throwing that out.
Oh, you can't see it? Okay, y'all.
No, I can't see the chat. So
okay, well then I'll make sure I try and keep you up to date on what we get over here. So anyway, this is the Last Run podcast, and go ahead, Ashley, you're the intro girl.
Oh, I'm Ashley from Last Call Catfishing.
I'm Julie with Run and Gun Catfishing, and today we have
Jeremy Dufour, but everybody in the industry knows me as Creole because of the channel Creole Catfishing, Central Louisiana, and we try to catch big fish every time we go out. So that's what we do.
Awesome. So we got Stevie J in here, and then Andrew was saying he can only see his own comments. So right now we're streaming on Run and Gun Catfishing on YouTube and Facebook. Ashley's Last Call page, and Ashley, there's one more. What's the other one?
My personal page.
Okay, and then Ashley's personal page. So comments come in from all over while we're doing this podcast. So anyway, so today we've got Jeremy with us, and I've been having the worst luck. We've had him scheduled for a couple times, and then I had my accident. So we pushed it back, and then the next weekend was crazy because the kids weren't back in school. But today, luckily, is their Friday, so I said let's try for Thursday, and they can entertain themselves while we do this. So I'm excited to have them on.
Well, I appreciate the invite. It's been a minute since I've been live, up on a podcast as a guest. So it's always a great opportunity. I love it. I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to start us off by just telling people a little bit about yourself and how you got into catfishing?
That's always a great story because I didn't start out in catfishing like everybody else did. I did not, growing up in Louisiana. Look, we grew up fishing very, very young age. But my introduction to fishing was pan fishing, sac-a-lait fishing, call them crappie, but, we call them sac-a-lait. That bass fishing even, that's how we grew up. We did not grow up trophy catfishing. That was much later on. I talk about this openly a lot, but my introduction to big catfishing about 12, 13 years ago was actually snagging. Believe it or not, it's legal here and a lot of people do it. We started out doing that and probably did that for about a year or so, and just I don't know. It wasn't for me. I just didn't feel right about it. I said, no, I want to try to catch these fish, baited hook in the mouth. There's got to be a way. Well, years go by, and my son started getting into fishing. My oldest son, Gabe, who's see him on the YouTube channel, and we started kind of getting back into the catfishing thing, and I didn't know anything about it. So I said, well, heck, you can go on YouTube and learn anything, right? So I go on YouTube and literally look up trophy catfishing on YouTube. This has been about 7 years ago now. Well, I got introduced to Steve Douglas. to Chris Souders to Richard Jean, the fish machine back then, was doing a lot of, big catfishing, and it just opened up this whole world. Okay. So I watch these guys, we learn, we go out on the river, just, things kind of progressively get better. The fish are getting bigger. Well, in an effort to learn more, I wanted to see what the other Louisiana people were doing on YouTube to try to dial things in. Well, there weren't any. Nobody from Louisiana was on YouTube trophy catfishing. So my brother and I back then kind of looked at each other and said, well, why don't we do it? Why don't we put some videos up on YouTube? And as they say, the rest is history. It turned into this big old thing with the YouTube channel. It turned into multiple pro staff deals for different companies now. I fish tournaments here and there. Just cranking up a guide service now. It's opened up this whole world to me that I didn't know existed 7 years ago. So that's basically the story. That's how we came to do what we do now.
That's awesome. I think a lot of people have gotten their start from watching YouTube. I know Charlie's learned so much.
Yep.
Just probably watching the same people you have and just going out and trying it. And it's really awesome how social media can connect people in positive ways too.
Absolutely.
And you can always learn from other people watching those videos, and
exactly. And especially, big credit to Chris Souders, especially because that was back when he was doing his Tackle Talk Tuesdays, years ago. And I ended up messaging back and forth kind of, and he's such a nice guy. He shares information with everybody, right? Well, this was just before I was really die hard on the CPR and selective harvest. So I didn't know Chris as well as I do now. So here I am sending him pictures of 50-pound fish sitting on the tailgate of my Can-Am, sending them to him. And look, he sent me a nice, very, very polite, long message to say, look, I don't like telling people what to do, but hey, have you considered CPR? And, went through a long explanation, and I read it. I thought about it, because in Louisiana, you keep what you catch, you eat what you catch. It's the way we grew up.
There's a lot of people like that too. Yeah,
exactly. I considered all the information, and I said, you know what? He's right. He's right. I think we can change the way we do things. So I am CPR and selective harvest thanks to Chris Souders, and that's how it happened. Was me sending him pictures of big fish, like knowing like I'm pretty decent friends with him now. It's really funny thinking that I actually did that to him, 5-6 years ago.
Yeah, that's the thing. Different ways of life. What is it, Ashley?
Do you guys ever travel? Like, do you fish anywhere other than like Louisiana, Mississippi?
I really don't. Traveling, staying out of town is pretty hard for me. I haven't really done it yet. I think the furthest out of town I've traveled to catfish is Vicksburg, Mississippi, which is only 3 hours north of where I live. We got a whole crew of pro staffers fishing the Memphis tournament this weekend. So they tried to get me to go, but because of work and everything, I said, "Oh, guys, I can't go out of town again."
Yeah, that's hard. So, do you want to tell us about your experience at the Mississippi Megabucks?
Yeah,
it is quite the experience. And most people who know me know the story already, but this year was only my second time not only fishing Megabucks in Vicksburg, but fishing any show up tournament ever. Like I don't before then I had never fished a true show up tournament. I've always done the YouTube live tournaments. I did that for years. And it is such an intoxicating environment to be in, around all of these professionals, the who's who in the industry, the driving up on stage and weighing the fish. I mean, it is an absolute incredible experience. And I can't say enough about how nice everybody is, willing to share information. And it's absolutely fun to be around. It's whether I do well or not in the tournament, to me is regardless. I just love being in the atmosphere of that big tournament like that. It's absolutely incredible.
It is. It is one of those, as just a viewer, because I've only gone just to go and watch and record the games. I didn't ever, do the tournament with Charlie. He's gone, I think, 3 years. Is it the third year they did it this year?
I think so. Might be.
Yeah, and so he's done it all 3 years and whatnot. But it is like something I've never seen. Now, and don't get me wrong, there's other tournaments we've been to that are really nice as well. And but that is like a whole like production. Look at these.
It is. You feel like a rock star whenever you come through in front of the crowd and just pulling the boat through it. There's nothing like it. They put on a great show. They really do. Alex and that whole crew, they do well. It's awesome. If nothing else, I'll fish that tournament every year, mainly because it's so close to the house. It's pretty easy for me to go over there and fish it.
Yep, I'm lagging again. I'm sorry. I just can't stare at myself frozen like that.
What
were your thoughts when you found out you made it to day 2 this year?
Well, I'll be honest with you. Whenever we were on the way back to the boat ramp, I knew what I had in the live well within a pound or two, and we had pretty much conceded to the fact that there's no way we're going to make day 2. Not with the weight we have. I said, it's just not happening. So we get in the weigh-in line. In fact, that's where I saw you for the first time. And we're sitting in the weigh-in line, and Rusty Moorfield is behind us. Great guy. He's so funny. Makes me laugh. Well, he comes up to the boat, and we start laughing. Oh, what you got? Oh, what you got? And, when I figured out that he had less weight than I did, I'm like, Like, we might have a shot at it, because if Rusty could not get more than that, we might have a shot at this. And I didn't want to get it in my head and get my hopes up, but I'm like, I don't know, maybe. And lo and behold, the number 25 spot, and we got in. I couldn't believe it. I had already, I had written that off. I said, oh, well, we get to sleep late tomorrow morning. We ain't going to make day 2. Nope. Go get it again.
So what'd you end up catching that first day? Like, how did it turn out for you the first day and second day? I can't remember how
it was. I got 76 total the first day, which in my opinion is a very low weight for that area. That area is capable of so much more than that. And the second day, I weighed in 2 little fish. I'll be honest, I couldn't even tell you what the weight was. That's how low it was. I didn't even pay attention. I was just so happy to roll in day 2 under our music that we picked out last year, because I was so determined to make day 2 last year. I picked my song last year, and just not skunk, weigh in fish, get in front of the crowd. That was my goal. I met my goal. I was happy as can be.
Yep. I think that's everybody's goal for there, is to just be able to bring back fish.
Yes, because
everybody
I don't know.
wants to make it to day 2, obviously, but if you can bring back fish to weigh in and actually get to go through the weigh-in line, like you said, it is a whole production, and the kids screaming and wanting all of your stuff. Like,
I got assaulted last year. Like, I was in the front row, just recording like I always do last year's weigh-ins, and holy moly, I did not expect them to want something as nasty as people's dirty gloves. So
anything that you got, they want. I had a big old box of bait towels, and we're just like, I was so excited that I almost started throwing like actual good stuff out of the boat. Like, I was like, I don't care, throw it all. Doesn't even matter, Yeah,
it was really cool. So I definitely learned that first day last year. I took over one of the Dry Creek Marine boats and got to record up there. That was when I met Chris Sapp for the first time. He's a really active company or a business owner in the catfish world. So that was when I met him for the first time. And so this year I sat in the truck that they had in there.
I mean, in fact, you'd have to know, especially my brother and I, we don't take ourselves very seriously. Especially in public, we do nothing but joke around and laugh, and we're just all about having a good time, So we're joking around with Alex Nagy day 1 that we were going to bring him back a shark day 2, and bring it to the weigh-in, and we had all kinds of little inside jokes going on. So when we opened the live well day 2, like, I think Alex took a step back. Like, I think he thought we were going to throw a shark at him. So I've got a plan for that for next year, by the way. So that'll be something to watch. I want to find me about a 6-foot long stuffed shark. We pull into the weigh-in, I'm chunking that sucker on the stage.
somebody clip this out of here so he doesn't hear what he's gonna get thrown out of him. We gotta keep it secret.
He'll forget about it by then. He'll be all right.
Right? That's a long time away.
Oh yeah, that's a long time away. He ain't gonna remember that.
You said that you guys do a CPR and selective harvest now. So
yes.
Do you see a lot of the commercial boats down that way? I mean, I know they have commercial boats because it's the South,
yes.
but like the guys that are coming from Ohio and up here to take our fish.
To my knowledge, we live so far south. To my knowledge, we don't have any of the, I'm going to call them the trophy commercial fishermen. We're not seeing that all the way down here yet. I've heard that they've started messing around like Greenville, Mississippi, maybe down by Vicksburg, but so far, and we got people watching for it. Trust me, because those guys who've spent any time down here in my area and have met the commercial fishermen here, they understand that they are the good breed of commercial fishermen. All these guys are worried about doing is catching smaller fish because they get sold for food. They have no concerns over keeping a big fish. These guys more or less practice the same selective harvest that we do. A blue, I'll say 18, 20 pounds or over, they put all that back. Now the yellow cat, that's what we call a flathead, they'll keep them a little bit bigger because there is a demand for some of the meat, but I'll say 25 maybe and over, they won't keep them. There's no market for them here. They're not going to do it. There's the bigger the fish is, the more waste you get. So it's not profitable for them. And of course, we don't have pay lakes down here, so there's just no reason for it. You know, they actually do a great job of conservation, and these guys understand what it takes to protect this river down here. Because you're not talking about a bunch of guys who woke up one day and said, "Oh, we're going to go be commercial fishermen." These guys are generational commercial fishermen, have been doing this for 200-300 years in this area. This is home. This is their life. This is everything they know. And they won't tolerate someone coming in from out of state and harvesting all these big fish, knowing it's going to ruin what we've got. That will not be tolerated by these guys.
That's the attitude that everybody should have. Like from Ohio, Maine, all the eastern states that say that they're invasive, like there's such a division in the catfishing world, you know, and they don't have that mindset like you guys do down there. Like we need to all be on the same page, you know.
Yeah, I mean they understand what it takes. Yeah, they understand what it takes to protect the resource because their whole livelihood depends on it. You know, and look, we're lucky. We've got a great population down here. We've got a lot of big fish. Look, anybody who's fished down here, they know. You know, you ask, you know, J.R. Hall and Mike Mitchell and Adam Cook and all these guys that have really spent time down here and know the commercial guys, they know. They know exactly what we've got down here. And, you know, we're all committed to protecting it because so many people will just depend on it for a living.
Are you like Southern Louisiana?
Was that?
Are you Southern Louisiana?
I am Central Louisiana. I am dead center in the middle of the state, but all the way to the east against the river.
Gotcha.
To the South Louisiana people, I live in North Louisiana. To the North Louisiana people, I live in South Louisiana. So that's where I'm at. I am dead halfway between Vicksburg, Mississippi, and New Orleans.
Above the below and below the upper.
Exactly. I'm right there in the middle.
A song about that. But it was about money, I guess.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. Very unique area. I live at the point where the Red Rivers, Mississippi River, and Atchafalaya River all kind of converge in one very small area. The very unique fishing situation. You know, we've got dams and locks and all this other water that we can go cover. It's a great little area to fish. Not a big area, but man, it holds some big fish. You know, we're pretty consistent on catching nice fish, and it ain't because we know what we doing. They're just here. You know, they're pretty easy to catch.
That's what's nice. It's when you live in a place where you have all the options like that. That's kind of like where we are in Kentucky. There's just so much. There's so many options. There's two laying between the lakes. You know, both lakes there, and you know Mississippi confluence into the Ohio or the I think Ohio there, and Tennessee and Cumberland River. Is it? Yeah. That's nice to have. It's a good thing to have if you're a guide.
Absolutely. Because when one river is nasty looking, then maybe the other one is clean, you know, and during the winter, you know, the Red River will warm up a lot faster and sooner than the Mississippi will. So during that springtime stage, when the warm water starts coming down Red River, well, we'll hop over and we'll bounce around and go where we'll go where the fish are. It's a lot of people ask me, well, what's your bucket list place to fish? Shoot, I live here.
Yeah,
it's here. I mean, I live there, you know, and I feel that, and this may stir some people up, but you know, that's what we do. I feel that anywhere else I travel to fish, I am downgrading my fishing waters.
Oh, absolutely.
That's honestly how I feel. Everywhere I go is a downgrade.
Wow. Yep. I get that for sure.
Yep.
But we've been getting hammered though, you see. So we've been getting hammered with the commercial fishing here. And I mean, part of me is like, is it because of the way that the water was? It was up so much. It took so long for the river to get, you know, corrected where it wasn't so high and so muddy and so trashy. And so we fished a little less this year than we have in the past, you know, 2 years for me, you know, because I've only just started the past 3 years, been fishing with Charlie, you know. But I'm like, is it that though? Or is it because the amount of commercial fishermen that are out here taking these fish all the time? I don't know. You know, in
my personal opinion, the tonnage of trophy fish that gets taken out of y'all waters year after year after year, you have to understand it's not an easily renewable resource. No. Those big fish, I'm talking 50, 60 plus, some of these fish, it takes 30 years to get that size. You know, that's not let's say like a trophy bass. Well, a trophy 10-pound bass might be what, 6, 7 years old at the most. That can be replenished. That can be kept up with. Look, trophy whitetail, trophy bucks. These huge mature bucks you see these guys harvesting are what, 3, 4, sometimes 5 years old. The trophies renew themselves at a pretty fast rate. Unfortunately, with catfish, it takes 20, 30 years for the fish to get to that size to begin with. And we all know that not every blue cat swimming has the genetic capability of getting that big to start off with. Not every blue will get 50 pounds. They just don't have the genetics for it. Just like, you know, not all humans can be 6 foot tall. That's just how it is. So if you're automatically taking away all of your big fish, all of your breeders, essentially you're taking out a large percentage of your genetics that even have the possibility of getting that size. And you're going to hurt it over time. It's just it's a mathematical certainty. You will hurt it over time. How long it takes? Well, that depends on your system, population, all of this. But you're going to hurt it there. And anybody who, you know, wants to put their head in the sand and say, "Oh, there's no way you'll catch all the big fish." And look, I hear that a lot around here. I hear it all the time. "Oh, there's no way you'd catch all them big fish in that river." Talk to some people that fish the Ohio River. Talk to people that fish y'all area and have a conversation with them and then tell me if you still feel that way. Absolutely, it can happen. The Ohio River is a big river. It really is. And it happened. And it happened over what, a couple of decades?
Yeah.
It happened.
Yep. I don't know if you saw it or not, but there's a video going around that somebody did where they went into a pay lake here in Ohio and they did a walk around and showed everybody like the fish. And there were small fish to big fish, just like skeletons, you know, like just everywhere walking around. And they're like, you know, you still think these pay lakes are okay? And we've never wanted to shut them down, but there needs to be some regulations put in place.
There's got to be a balance because there's different issues concerning these trophy pay lakes. I'm always very specific about that.
Yeah.
Because come to find out, we have a pay lake in Louisiana, but it's all farm raised fish. So it's not, so it's a different thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's different issues that people could possibly have a problem with. Okay, first and foremost is the decimation of the wild trophy population. Okay, that's one, that's one soapbox that people will stand on. Then you've got another soapbox of cruelty to the fish. They're slowly dying. They are. It is a death sentence. These little pay lakes cannot sustain an animal of that size. Again, mathematical certainty, not going to happen. So you've got that issue to stand on, and then you've got the other standpoint issue of, well, even while they are alive, constantly being hooked and hooked and hooked and underfed, and there's these different separate issues. I think for a lot of people, the number one issue is the decimation of the trophy populations in the wild rivers, because as taxpayers, you're contributing to that. You're contributing to the preservation of your wild species. And what gets me is, I know in Louisiana it's this way. I'm sure other states are the same. You can't just go in the woods, catch a deer, and bring it home and keep it for a pet.
Yep.
There's laws against that. Right. There is a law, because now you have a wildlife and fisheries resource that you're keeping for private. You cannot do that. There's so many species that are protected that way. Why aren't the fish in general treated the same way? It's a wild resource that you have gone and plucked from taxpayer funded waters, and now you have it on a private facility. If that would be deer, elk, anything else you can possibly think of, that is not okay. There are laws against that. How is a fish any different? That's always my question.
Yeah, I mean, it's like felony to torture any animal.
Yeah.
Or is it just domesticated animals that you're not allowed to torture? But anything else is free game. You can't trap, raccoons out of season, or you're going to be in big trouble. Whatever, all the rules and laws against all these other animals. But why is it this one that it's like, it's fine, it'll be all right. And on top of it is the people fishing there don't even have to have a fishing license, so they're not even helping the DNR and Fish and Wildlife, whatever, at all. And you know how many thousands of people, probably millions, I don't know, across the country that go and fish places like that, but they don't need to pay for a fishing license. Makes sense.
Because and that's the catch-22 of the whole thing. Yes, they are fishing on a private facility, therefore you don't need licenses, but yet they're catching publicly funded fish.
Yes.
You're catching the taxpayers' fish, so there's got to be something in there. And again, and I know I feel that way. A lot of other people do too. You can pass all the laws you want, until you enforce it. It's the enforcement. I know here there are certain laws that exist that people will abuse because the penalty is not that big anyway. Who cares? But there's others that the fines are high enough to get people's attention.
That's the problem. Even in Kentucky, they have the restrictions. There's only so many commercial fishermen that are allowed to take the overs. But their fine, if they get caught, is $200. They can replenish that with one fish.
Exactly. One boatload will pay that ticket 10 times.
Right.
There's no serious repercussions for it. It's like, well, what's the incentive to not do it if that's the only consequence there is?
Yeah.
And hopefully, the Kentucky backcountry and hunters, they're working with lobbyists and stuff down there. They've got some big things coming up. So hopefully they can get some changes made, and these other states will follow suit, like Ohio and Indiana. I know they've got some things planned for the fall. So we're hoping that, it doesn't make its way down to you all, that something gets done before these guys come down there.
It's only a matter of time. I mean, I'm not going to stick my head in the sand and say, oh, I live too far away. There's no way it can happen to me. It's a ridiculous statement. It may take longer, but there may be some doing it now, and I'm just not aware of it. It's always possible. It's a big river. It's a big area. we don't want to see it. I know all of the commercial fishermen here, and I'm on pretty good terms with all of them in some way, shape, or form. And I've had this conversation with these guys, and I've even sat down and asked them, and it's like, hey, what would y'all say if Louisiana would pass a law right now that says you cannot keep a catfish over, I think I threw out there like 40 inches, 38, 40 inches, let's say. And they were like, well, we don't care. We don't keep those anyway. Let them pass it.
Mm-hmm.
That law would not hurt our commercial guys, not one bit.
Right.
They're not keeping those anyway, so they can't say the commercial fishermen here would get in an uproar, because I've talked to them. They're good. They're good with it.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to enforce it, though.
And that's the thing, like Kentucky, like we've talked to Kentucky DNR, and they're supposed to keep a log. Like the commercial guys have to keep a log. Well, guess what? They're not doing. They're not checking the logs.
Yeah, and the log is literally just a piece of paper. You can write whatever you want on it. There's no
right. Like they get like what 3 or 4 chances before they even get a fine. I'm like, what are you even doing that for? It's like,
yeah, that is not scaring anybody.
No,
I'm sorry, that's not scaring. If you like growing up, if we went cut donuts in Dad's front yard and cut the yard up, there were consequences. We were scared to do it. It's real simple. If all ever Dad did was just, all right, now don't do that again. You think we would have stopped? No.
Right.
But his method was much more effective.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing. If these fines were high enough to get people's attention, they would think about it before doing it. And if the fines are high enough, that gives your enforcement agents much more incentive to go look at this stuff and go issue these tickets to generate revenue.
Yep.
Exactly.
I don't know if you were able to catch our podcast when we had Mike Abel on here was that just last week? But he was talking about like they try to like make all of these regulations and stuff, but the population of people fishing for catfish has grown tremendously, that the regulations are not keeping up with the amount of people that are doing it.
Interesting.
So like they had, I forget how many commercial fishermen he said do you remember, Julie, how many he said they started with versus what they have now in Kentucky?
No, I do not remember the actual
numbers.
But also though, which I'm not saying this is exactly it, but like Charlie had to get his commercial fishing license for to do the guiding thing as well. So I'm curious. Okay. Mm-hmm. Or unless he only did it for the bait. Maybe I'm confused because it was a couple years ago that we did all that stuff. But
well, I guess technically, what I hold 2 licenses. The Coast Guard, obviously, but then I hold a Louisiana charter captain's license. Technically, that's on the commercial side, so maybe it's something like that.
Yeah, so that's why I know he did get it for like bait because he did do bait that year too. But
that's probably why. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm wondering, but I think he had to have it for both because I don't know. I could be confused, but anyway.
I know here you have to apply for the charter captain license the same way you do for a commercial license. In fact, it's the same application. You just check off the charter captain one. So it may be what it is.
Like how it was, but because it feels like forever ago. But it was only 2 years ago to remember exactly. Right. So Catfish with us. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you're good.
You had this up here earlier. V Smith, she's with Catfish with us, and they've started a new thing where they're doing the catfishing tournaments and all that stuff, and the online tournaments and all that stuff, trying to bring everybody together because she's talked to DNR here in Ohio, and they're telling her it's about value. So if we don't all band together, like we were talking about earlier, and show them that we all care about our resources and our fish, nothing is ever going to be done. There's always going to be a division. It's just like politics. If we can't all agree that
they will come down as far south as they have to go once they ran out of resources around here.
Yep.
There's zero doubt that's gonna,
And to me, that's one of the more ridiculous arguments that you hear from these owners. They'll sit there on a camera and tell you, "Oh, well, there's a lot of fish. There's no way we're hurting the population." Well, how come you got to send a truck 2 states away to find fish then?
Yeah,
Stay home if that's the case.
Exactly.
And
if you're able to take care of the fish, why do you have holding ponds in other states?
Yeah, exactly. Why do you have to drive so far from home if there's nothing wrong with your population? Come on now.
Right.
Exactly. So I don't know. It's sad.
It is, and I guess we're seeing something revolutionary here because we get to watch a sport that started almost at nothing explode.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling a lot, like other friends I have that are deeply connected in the industry, we're only seeing the beginning of what this could be. But there has to be changes. There's got to be, true professionalism has to really come forth and stand out. Laws have to be passed. People have to come together and decide, okay, this is what's best for everybody. This is something everybody can live with. And they've done it for all the other species. I think we're next, but we're very divided on the subject, unfortunately, because of commercial fishing for catfish for food in my area, and then you got the pay lakes and other areas. We as a whole, as catfishing, tend to be more divided because of those things, and some of that is standing in our way of making something effective that everybody can get along with.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on tournaments and how they can take better care of like conservation purposes? You know what I mean? Because like I feel like George and them do a pretty good job of that. I know like every tournament you're going to lose fish, especially when it's 111 degrees outside. You could lose a fish without being in a tournament in that temperature. But there's a lot of talk with like the tournament fishing, and us as anglers, we have to take some responsibility for that.
Yes, I
What are your thoughts on it?
I think personally, most of the responsibility falls on the anglers themselves, and that is, the right live well, the right oxygen system, and just knowing how to take care of fish in a live well. I think that's first and foremost, is knowing what it takes to keep those fish healthy. And I think there's a lot of guys out there who do a really, really good job. Most of them have given me advice for me how to do it. And that was proven to me in the weigh-in line. Day one this year, I had a fish that he was a little iffy. I didn't know. We tried everything we knew to try to perk him up. Well, here comes Rusty Moorfield and Adam Cook. Both jumped out of their trucks, looked in my live well, stuck their hand in the water. Hey, try this. Hey, try that. Hey, try that. And for anybody who watched me weigh in live, saw that fish beat me half to death in front of everybody. Mm-hmm. So that fish went from we didn't know if he was going to make it to mad, extremely mad. So it starts right there. I personally feel that some of these tournaments can put a little bit of some restrictions on how far you go out. And I'll be the first one to tell you, for Vicksburg, I put a lot of miles on my boat day one. A lot.
We did too.
Lots of gas cans on a lot of boats.
I will tell you right now, I was one of them. I probably made one of the furthest runs of probably anybody else fishing that tournament. There was maybe a handful of guys who might have ran further than I did. And I'll be the first one to tell you, if they made a rule next year, hey, you can't go below the Natchez Bridge, I'd be the first one to give them a thumbs up. Hey, no problem. Good deal. Because can't be good for fish rolling 55 miles an hour in 3-foot wakes, beating the fish for 3 hours. Yeah. It can't be good for them. I mean, let's just face it. I think with 100 boats, you could suck the boundaries in just a little bit. I think you'll be okay. I've never been around a tournament that allowed trailering. I really don't have much of an opinion on that, because honestly, whether you're beating the fish up on a trailer or you're beating it up in a boat running 100 miles, you're still beating the fish up. So It's kind of, to me, that's kind of 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I really, really wish they could find a way, excuse me, to mimic what we did for years on YouTube with these live tournaments. Look, the bass fishing world is doing it. The crappie world tournaments, they're starting to figured out. And I know logistically it's a huge thing, but to somehow go to a live on camera tournament structure would alleviate so many of these issues. And I think would make a great production for the viewers to watch. And it's logistically, that's a big mountain to climb.
Well, it really is. To add to that, TikTok has also been doing the live tournaments as well. We've done a few ourselves. And, I think that it is possible. There are people trying to do it, but getting it to where it's fair and equal and even across the board is how do you do that? Because, one person's scale, it's not like everyone's got the same scale when they're doing it and all that stuff. You just have to show, the net zero out and all the fun things that go with it. But
there's definitely ways of doing it, because I actually had the honor of fishing in the very first YouTube live catfish tournament that ever happened. That was October of 2020. That's how long we've been doing it. And look, same thing with us when we decided, I got to give the credit to Chad Fields, has a YouTube channel called Fields to Water. His original idea. He's the one that did the very first live catfishing. In fact, we did a couples tournament. I had just started my YouTube channel at the time. I had like 50 subs, and we all got together and did it. It was fun. And over the years, we kind of went through the growing pains of, hey, this rule works, or hey, this rule doesn't work. And, went through the arguments of, hey, this is not fair, or hey, this one cheated, and we took all those years and really dialed in what it takes to run a fair tournament, and now you're seeing a structure now where everybody's kind of dialed in on doing the rules, and they've really got it figured out. And I'm excited for some of these tournament series that are coming live on YouTube that have really taken all those years of experience, put it all together. And I think you're really going to see some cool stuff in the years to come.
I think a lot of it is like Vicksburg, and when they do Bama Blues, the city of Decatur, like these towns put up a pretty good price tag to bring these anglers and stuff in. And look at Vicksburg, the amount of people that come in there, to watch fish come through and to watch
a live weigh-in. Exactly.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that it's not fun to watch on camera, but it's way better to be in person. What
absolutely.
I mean? As a viewer, when you're not into the catfishing world and you don't get to do that, would you rather see them in person, or would you rather be watching it on a screen?
I would imagine that there's a balance somewhere, and I'm sure somebody will figure it out one day how to balance those two things. How do you balance the live tournament structure but still give the show, the electrifying energy of being there for that live weigh-in with the crowd and everything else? There's a way to do it. Just somebody hasn't figured it out just yet. And sometimes it takes just doing it, not being afraid to fail. Do it, see what works, see what doesn't, and you make the next one better. But I would love to see that, especially with, because Chad created the idea of the YouTube live tournament, and then later on, YouTube channel called Catfish and Crappie created the idea of the 1-versus-1 battles live. We did live 1-versus-1s for a couple of years, even had like a Sweet 16 bracket style tournament over the course of like a month. We did 2 of them like that. And it's so many different creative ways you can do things when you're live. Now, the way we did it was you fished wherever you wanted to. There was no restrictions on where to fish. Everybody's fishing at home. You're literally watching people fish from all around the country right there on screen. But like you said, these cities put up a lot of money for people to show up. The tax money and all this stuff that, the revenue that gets generated. So there's a balance out there. I really think there is.
Yeah.
But I agree. Like the CR tournament, I don't know if you guys watched the live weigh-in for that, but Chris was down there and Alex and all of them.
Yep.
And they had like one screen was the live weigh-in, like up at the stage. But then Chris was on camera and he was going around interviewing the anglers as they came through the line and showing you in the boat and like, oh, what do they got? Like bringing the excitement for what's to come. And that's really cool. So I think you're right. Like if they have multiple anglers with the cameras on their boats, and they see them. But again, like you have to come up with some way to keep the crowd entertained and the city to still get their money.
Yes. Yeah. And that would, hey, look, that's a challenge for anybody watching out there. It's an idea. See, we laid a golden idea in somebody's lap. Somebody just has to make it happen.
That's right.
And I know, like, when we do our veterans event, it's not a tournament. They don't pay any entry fee. They don't win any money.
Right.
But it's the same thing. They don't get to do this every day. This is not their normal. They don't have the equipment or the means to go do it. So we allow them to bring back one fish, not multiple fish, one fish, just for the sole purpose of being able to weigh a fish and take a picture with it.
Nothing wrong with that.
And we have a slide. Michael King from the River Rats Catfishing Club, they built a slide last year. So we have the generator and everything hooked up for the water, and the fish go right back into the water.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, and if they don't have a live well capable, we've got multiple people with live wells, that'll bring it back for you. So
that can transport them and things like that. Yeah, I mean, there's creative ways to do everything. Just got to do it. Somebody's just got to say, wake up and do it.
Yep.
That's right.
And I'll be the first one in line. They start doing live tournaments that you can fish in your home waters. I will be the first one in line. I promise you.
Good too. He loves getting in on online tournaments. He's like, it's the best. I love them too. I love seeing everybody in person tournaments. I think it's really fun, but it's a lot. Especially we take the kids. We took them with us this past weekend, and holy moly,
Well, there's definitely a Facebook page out there that y'all need to keep a watch on. It's called, we call it the WOTS Tournament Series. WOTTS, Way Out There Tournament Series. They have a Facebook page. You check it out. All kinds of different tournaments, different rules, different, some are like real serious, big fish, total weight tournaments. Others are more like based on fun ideas. Like we did one this past spring. What was the name? We called it the Walmart Whiplash. You had to go to Walmart and buy this certain little cheap spinning rod. And that's with the factory line, mind you. And all you could do was use that rod. And let me tell you, we
will love that. We had to you were there when we were live streaming down in Venice, weren't you? And
I was in the live.
Met you, like I consider that the first time I met you. Even though it was
I believe, because y'all were fishing down in Venice, and I was like, well, shoot, they're right there down the road from the house. I remember that.
And Charlie caught it on his little Paw Patrol rod, that nice one. So I bet he's down for that. I already added him to that group or sent it to him to join that group. He'll like that.
And there's so many little cool ideas that they do, and that tournament series now will also incorporate into some of the more, I'm going to call serious tournaments that we've done over the years, like real competitive big fish tournaments. You're going to kind of see all that with this. And look, we'd love to bring a crowd in, get people involved, and all that'll do is generate more ideas and get people doing more of it,
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the problems with that, though, is like we couldn't compete with you. If we had to fish on our home waters here in Ohio, there's no way we could compete with somebody that's even Julie and Charlie. Like
that right there has always been, and that depends on the rules that you set. And you are extremely right. That's why I was so successful in the YouTube Live tournaments, is simply because my body water is so good, I was hard to compete against.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's a way of structuring the rules to start evening the ground a little bit. Some of that we figured out long ago that, it's not always about total weight. It's not always about big fish. You can start playing with your rule structures, but because you're live, there's a lot of things you can do. And you can start structuring those rules to even the playing field. You'd be surprised what you can do to level it out.
Yeah, I know, like Muskrat and them, they do a lot of this.
Yep.
Sandusky Bay and catch the bazillion channel cats, so they figured that out too.
We've done tournaments with where it was numbers, where weight didn't matter. We've done tournaments where it was a point system. Yeah, I mean, and those of us that knew, depending on the rules of the tournament, you kind of have to change your game plan of how you're going fish.
Here we go. we win online tournaments against the rest of the country here in Ohio.
Yeah. Oh, look, I have had my butt whooped by Ohio people before. Let me tell you, I don't win them all. I'll be the first one to tell you. I've had it handed to me more than once, depending on the rule structure. Now, my favorite ones to fish were just total weight. Everything you catch gets weighed. It doesn't matter if you catch 40 fish, you weigh them all. Oh, I love that tournament structure because that suited me well in my waters.
Mm-hmm.
I get in a pile of 30, 40-pound cookie cutters and just bring fish in the boat till my arms get tired. I mean, it's kind of hard to compete with that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Absolutely.
It's a lot of fun. And we have, in fact, Roger Muskrat, every year he does his kids tournament.
Right.
Kids only. It gets the kids involved. For years and years, we did the couples tournament, to encourage the couples to come out and fish with us. There's so many ideas, just so many out there.
Yep. There's a lot of fun things you can do.
Yep. And in every tournament we've ever done, no matter the YouTube channel, no matter the person running it, it's always been 100% CPR. All the fish get thrown back. Health of the fish was always first and foremost. We had rules that, handle them with gloves, handle them with grippers. We don't want people weighing a big fish by the bottom jaw by grippers. Typical stuff that you hear everyone talk about on Facebook and on these lives was actually rules that were created in some of these live tournaments because of the health of the fish.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
Yep.
Very good.
I know, we'll be watching lives, from the weigh-ins of some of these tournaments, and I watch the people drop the fish, and it just makes me cringe. I just cringe, oh, take care of the fish. Please just take care of the fish.
And you see, that's exactly how I got my brains beat out this year. Is because I was determined. I'm like, I'm not letting this fish go. I am not going to be the guy who drops a fish in front of everybody. And it's
bad enough doing it on accident when no one, Charlie got mad at me one day. We had, I think, 3 in the live well, size fish. We were just going to get a picture and release them. And he gave me this dark blue thing. And oh my gosh, he was strong. And and he's like, Julie, you got to hang on to that. I was like, I tried. Oh, I got a good fish slap at him. He ended up getting me a better, the other one that wasn't so mean, and he picked that one up. Same thing happened to him, and he got smacked in the head. Oh, I was so happy.
And those that have fished the southern Mississippi know those fish are extremely strong. They're like bodybuilders. They're just long, lean, pure muscle. And especially when you catch them bumping, they are mad. Because you always catch the most aggressive fish bumping. That's just the nature of it. And oh man, I've got scars on my hands and everything from these, especially catching these big males. Man, they tear you up. You got to be ready for that.
Yeah, absolutely, because they are ready to. I got bit, well, not really bit, but the tooth pad caught the top of my foot. It was bleeding because he got laid down in the boat, and he just went crazy. And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" I tried to get my foot out of the way fast enough, but it got the top of my foot, and I was like, "That is wild." Yep.
Last year, in fact, my brother was with me. I caught a 72 blue bumping, in our spot that we always bump, and it's hard to see on camera, but there's a scar right here on my knuckles, across my 2 knuckles on my left hand. That blue ripped the hide off the top of my hand through a mechanic's glove.
See, we wear leather gloves now, and that has been the best thing.
Yeah. You hold on to them a little better. Yeah.
Yeah, that, and they don't rip through nearly as bad as any other gloves we've used. And so I've just been getting them on repeat, and they'll shred them up. It's crazy how fast they shred those up. But it's been really good switch. I'm happy with the switch.
Yeah, just the old yellow leatherwork gloves.
Absolutely. Yep. I got some from Walmart.
Oh yeah, they work well.
Yeah, they do the job.
Yeah, I have a set of the oil field leather gloves that have the impact strips, on top of the fingers and on top of the palm. That's what I use.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, that's what I use. Well, I mean, we get every store you go in around here has those types of gloves. A lot of oil field industry around here, so they're pretty for us. They're pretty easy to find.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But I mean, I'm a big promoter of a fish over about 25, I'm either going to weigh him in my net, or I've got a really good, I got two actually now, really good weigh slings. If they're really big, I'll put them in the weigh sling. I really try to avoid sticking my hand in that fish's mouth altogether until it's time to release them. I mean, look, I know some guys are like, oh, grab them with your bare hands, do whatever.
No, I'm good. Charlie got a horrible infection. He just had one poke on the top of his like he's had so much ripped off and all that, but one poke on his knuckle, on his ring or pointer finger. That thing swelled up so big that he could feel his heartbeat in it, and it got nasty. They had to give him a pretty strong antibiotic to get rid of the infection. And I just saw Hippie Shannon is his first name. He had the same thing. He thought it was gout, and it's not. It was from an infection from fishing.
Yeah, and not only that, not just the risk of getting your hide torn off your hand, but like I said, especially when you start getting into these really big, powerful fish. You know, if my brother's still in chat, he'll tell you that 100 that we caught last year, that 101, he thought that fish broke his wrist. He did, because that fish grabbed him and rolled, and a fish that big, you're not going to stop him. I don't care how strong you are.
That's a good thing to bring up too. Yeah, they're really.
Yeah, I mean, my brother is 6'5". He's got hands the size of catcher's mitts. And there's nothing he could do to stop that fish from rolling. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
They will.
What is the average weight down there?
I'll say average is probably 40 or 50. To be honest with you, like me personally, I don't consider it a really big fish until they start getting like 60 plus. That's kind of our line down here. You know, upper 30s, 40s into the lower 50s. They're fairly common. We catch them on a lot of trips.
It used to be like that here, but I've not had much luck. I'm going to be honest. I haven't fished much at all this summer, but when we've gone out, I'm like, where are the fish?
I've heard this all around the country this year, but the fish are there, but the bait has been tough this year.
Yeah,
for us, it's been horrible. I think it's because of the flood, because of all the high water. You know, the river stayed high for so long. I think it might have messed with the bait spawn this year. You know, we've seen it happen before years ago. But man, the bait has been just incredibly tough, because I've got guys that'll call me that'll fish like some of the local tournaments around here. Like, oh man, how's the bait over there? How's the bait? I'm like, you don't want to come over here. You're wasting your time. I don't burn the gas. Trust me.
Get some chicken from the dollar store.
Tell you what, if I got to resort to fishing with chicken around here,
I always because everybody on the TikTok land, they say, do you fish with chicken when we were newer and going live over there? And I was like, go get chicken so we can fish with it and show them, you know, whatever. Because no, we use fresh bait. I kid you not. We caught the biggest fish and the first fish on chicken. He was so mad.
Okay.
Plain.
Well, don't get me wrong. I've caught fish on chicken. I have.
I just think it's funny. So it's always a joke that because Alof TV, he talking about that coffee chicken. I was like, coffee chicken. Oh, it burns him up. Whenever I say I made it, but he refused to use it.
I put you like this: if I had to make my living down here taking people on trips on coffee chicken, I'd probably be living in a cardboard box. I'll just put it out there like that. That ain't gonna pay the bills. It doesn't. Maybe it works for some people. That ain't gonna do it down here.
Views, I think, because it always gets people going with this funny bait and all that stuff. It works for them, but
I mean, I will never, ever argue with somebody who's catching fish.
That's all right.
I will not. I've had people ask me advice like, man, what do you think about bait? What do you think about this? What do you think about that? Okay, what kind of fish are you catching? Oh, we do real good. We'll catch 15, 20 fish every time we go. What are you asking my advice for?
Yeah.
Apparently you're doing pretty good, you know?
That's right.
So bait is usually not that hard because we've only been down there twice. But last year it was really hard too when we were down there.
No, bait's normally usually this time of year, I got a couple of spots where I can pull right up to, no problem, whip my rod out, catch, 20, 30, 40 slicker, whatever I need to go fishing that day and just go, not even worry about bringing bait or anything like that with us. And that has not been the case this year Wow.
Yeah, like we stopped in Kentucky on our way down there this year to bring skips with us, and we went out like one day when we were down there just to catch fresh bait.
Yep.
And we were like throwing, and it was like he could see him on the screen. So he's like, we got to try it. So we're like trying it. It was gar. I literally seen it come up, and it tried to grab it. And I like jerked the pole up, and I'm like, no, we don't want you.
Not you.
Oh, I went out. I went out this past Sunday by myself, actually, which I hardly ever do. Go out fishing on that river in my boat by myself. So I went out there, and I'm looking for bait. I'm looking, and finally I see just this big ball down below me in 40 feet of water. So I'm like, oh yes. Break out the tape net, make my circle. Man, I'll bust them, waiting on the net to go down. Net gates down low. I feel something kicking in the net. I said, we got it. This is it. Finally, we figured the bait out. I pull it up. I had about 8 little 6-inch long blue cat in my cast net. I'm like, oh no.
No, I want it.
Like, oh, that was heartbreaking right there.
That's awesome.
We've done that.
Oh yeah, because you don't know. You really don't know what it is until you get the net. And I don't know how many gar I've caught in my cast net this year. Lord have mercy.
One of the first videos that I made was it was flooded. The river was flooded, and we went back in this creek down on the Ohio, and we're back there, and he's like, I got to see what this is, like, because it was just everywhere. Like everywhere we went, like the screen was loaded, and he threw the net. And he's pulling it up, and it was like so heavy. He's like, man, it's so heavy. And I'm recording him like to make a video, a bait video. And he pulls it up, and it gets to the top of the water. And he's like, oh no, like that. It was clear full of gar. I bet there was 25 of them in the net.
You just soon let the net go. Just let it go.
It took us forever to get those things out of the net.
We the last time I caught a gar in my net and he got tangled in there good. We happened to be geared up to try to catch some alligator gar, so we had the cordless sawzall in the boat with us. That's how I got him out of my net. Yeah, so I said, oh, we fixing to fix this up real quick. Yeah, I'm not above it. I'll tell you right now, I'm not above it. I don't like a gar. They aren't endangered around here. Let me tell you, we got plenty. I will cut one out of a net. I'm not ashamed.
Have you ever ate one? I've heard somebody say that they are really good to eat.
Okay, I have to clarify on this. The alligator gar that we have down here, I will tell you right now, that is my absolute favorite fish to eat. Nothing comes close.
So I wonder
yes. Yeah, because even the ones we get up here have a little bit of that salt water in them, even 150 miles up the Gulf like we are. But the especially the big alligator gar, oh, that is some of the best fish you'll ever eat.
But we don't have alligator gar up here in Kentucky, do we?
No, so y'all don't have them up there.
I'm pretty sure he's talking about the regular one, like the kind we do have. Regular. I don't know.
Again, we're gonna make a few people mad. Okay, let's just commit to this.
Let's do it.
If somebody tells you that something is good to eat, but the first thing they say is, well, you got to know how to clean it. You got to do this. No, it's not that good. I'm sorry. If it takes that many instructions and steps and do's and don'ts to make it good to eat, no.
The only thing I'm gonna work that hard for to eat is crab legs.
I agree. Or in our case, boiled crawfish. I will take the time and get that little piece of meat out of that tail because it's worth it.
Oh, see, you can have all of that. We do crawfish bowls up here, which they're the frozen ones, okay? Well, no, I've got a coon-ass friend, okay?
Okay. I love it that you said it out loud. I love it.
Thank you. You have to. I got to put some respect on it, And let me tell you, when my dad, it's my dad's friend, and his wife, I'm telling you, every time they came up here before they finally, they built or found their own place and whatever, but my dad has a guest house, so they come up and stay. They just fed us so well, and I loved it. Oh my gosh, the food that I ate. Whew, it was some good stuff.
Well, that's actually something we do here, and I've always, because I've had plenty of people now just friends, YouTube friends, around the country. They'll make a vacation. They'll come down here. They'll come, stay a couple of days right there in town, and we'll come fish with us, and we'll feed them and everything. And it's always a big, big thing. And I've actually kind of incorporated that now with the guide service. Is that, hey, yeah, we're gonna go fishing, we're gonna have fun, but I try to set it up to where like you get fed and everything.
That's so cool.
That's fun.
Like that's
it's something different to kind of take advantage of our way of life, our culture. I try to do it as an experience, because look, you can go fishing with anybody, right? But if I can give you the whole experience of being down here, it'll set you apart a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And the soft shell crab, and shrimp. I never had that, and I was very nervous to eat it. And then I got over that very quickly, and it was so good.
It changed your life, didn't it?
It did. I was like, dang, I never would have imagined that this could be good, because you see the shrimp, you peel that off, and you're like, yeah, now I'm eat it on this one. And it was so good. So those were some good days. So we're coming back in November, so we'll just have to schedule a layover.
Yes. Come back. Y'all need to holler at me. And look, if nothing else, y'all can come up here, and we're going to cook, and we're going to have a good time. If nothing else, we ain't even got to go fishing. We'll just cook and do our thing, and we'll be good to go.
Yeah.
What is your favorite time of the year to fish down there? Like if we were to come down, what month?
I always tell people, if I had to pick one day out of the year and never fish any other day, it'd be on Halloween.
Really?
Either the last day of October or the first day of November. It just, I don't know what it is about October. We're really the October and November, depending on exactly what the weather's doing. But that 2-month span is just magic around here, because our water temperatures at that time are finally getting down into the 60s. It's finally cooling off enough. Then big fish start turning on. But we're still plenty warm enough to bump, at that hydro. And man, it seems like every weekend we're putting hogs in the boat during that time of year. So that's definitely my favorite. And we'll catch good fish all year. Don't get me wrong, but I really get excited that time of year.
Now, I'm never asked to guess this, but what is your PB catfish?
My personal PB is 87 pounds. That's the biggest one I've caught. My brother, who basically fishes with me almost every time, and what we call our boat record, is 101. That's the biggest catfish we've caught, like as a group, let's say.
That is Charlie's life goal. That is what makes him go out on the water every single day that he does.
If anybody has seen the video on my channel, when he and I caught, and we caught that 101 bumping, mind you.
That is so cool. That's how Charlie caught his PB, is bumping.
Yeah, that was such an emotional video. Like, it was just raw emotion, because we had been working at that point, we've been working for 5.5 years to get to that goal. And we know those fish are there. I see them all the time. I have seen monster fish get pulled out of these hoop nets around here. The guys will weigh them just to say they did, and they'll throw them back. They release them alive. I've seen massive fish come out of these things, and I know I have them. And it's just been this undying need to finally get one on rod and reel, and we finally did it. In fact, it was this past November. That's when we caught that fish. We went out the first week. We went one weekend. We caught a 72, a 65, and like a couple of 50s. Next weekend we went out. That's when I caught my 87. Caught a 60, a 55, and like a bunch of 40s. Well, then like 2 weeks after that, that's when we got the 101. So it was like just a month of just nailing monster fish and busting PBs. It was amazing.
That would be awesome.
So cool. The best part of that video was little man taking over that camera.
Oh yeah. That I brought my son with me, and most people that know me know the story, but my son is actually on the spectrum. He has autism, and he's a ham on camera. He just has that personality due to that. And we're sitting there trying to fight this monster fish, trying to get it in the boat, trying to arrange everything, and it's trying to deal with what's going on in my boat. And I just hand the camera to him, and I say, "Hey, Caleb, look, just because he loves filming stuff. Look, just film us, film the fish, just get some footage for us. The second he turns around, he just puts the camera on his face and says, "What's up, everybody?" and just starts talking to the camera, not filming us or anything. And I'm so enthralled in what I'm doing with this big fish, I don't notice he's doing that. So we caught like 30, 45 seconds of footage of him hamming it up in the camera. And when we edited it, we left it in. I said, I can't take it out. Just leave it in there.
That's the fun part of it,
Leave it, just leave it in there, because he does a better job of telling people to like and subscribe than I do. So I just, let him have it. He remembers that.
That's awesome.
But I'll tell you something though, and maybe this was just ours, but that 101 was not the hardest fish fight we've ever had.
Huh.
That big fish actually kind of laid down on us. Like he pulled like a freight train for a minute. And I guess he just tired out. Now we were bumping, we turned troll them all off, went catch him, but still that's why I couldn't believe how big he was when he hit the surface, because the fight was, okay.
Yeah.
The hardest fish fight I've ever had was actually that 72 that I caught, the one that tore my hand up.
Isn't that funny how that, I always feel like when you catch a small, which we, I don't know about your current where you're at in particular, but our current is really fast a lot of times where we're fishing. Right. And so the way that the smaller fish fight, like dodge and duck and weave, is so much different than a big fish that just bears down, it feels like. Like they're not.
It's a totally different kind of fight. I know that 72 for sure. And I don't say this lightly, but that 72, when he broke the surface, I was disappointed. I thought he was bigger than that. He fought way above his weight class. I thought I'd never get him in that boat. And I caught that fish in about 70 feet of water in probably a 3.5 mile an hour current.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was, he gave me a good fight.
Oh,
that's crazy.
It's an opportunity. I know everybody says around the country, hey, every time you go fishing, you never know, that might be the day you get 100. That's real for us. It's really real, and I preach that all the time with people, like inspect your gear, inspect your rigs, check your leaders, check your hooks, check your drags, check everything, because look, the video said it when we caught that 100. We didn't think we were going to catch anything that day. The river wasn't looking too good. It was trashy. It was just, the weather was weird. We were like, we're going to go and hopefully we don't skunk. And it would have been really easy to look at all my gear and say, it's going to be a okay day anyway, so it'll be good enough. I ain't worried about it. And a nicked leader would have cost us that fish. You just never know.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is an important lesson.
Yep, big time.
Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Creole?
Oh, this was way earlier,
right?
But it said we need to pressure Jeremy to come up for boots on the water.
Yeah, well, actually, that is Chris. In fact, he's one of our pro staffers for River Cats Tackle. Very, very, very good friend of mine. Great guy. If I were able to travel more, I would want to go to all of these things. I hear about boots on the water and all these great tournaments y'all have for veterans and everything. I'd love nothing more to be able to travel the country here and there and go. And especially when there's no pressure, just show up and fish and go and hang out. I would love to do that. Just not yet. Maybe one day when the guide business is taking off like I want to, we might be able to do a little bit of that.
We'd love to have you.
But for now, I still got to show up at work every day at the day job. So
that is what drives Charlie crazy. Is because of him. He's working out of town right now, 4 days a week. So that's why I'm out trying to change that tire and failed.
Look, there's been many times that I've just had to stay behind because work. Something's going on with work. I can't go, and especially when you have one of those jobs where you've got to be there. If you're not there, nothing happens. Yeah. I always said I didn't want a job where I was important. I don't know where I went wrong in life and got an important job.
That's what I hate for Charlie too. We were traveling up to the Rising Sun tournament, and it was 3 hours on the phone, and he had to have some really hard phone calls conversations in that trip, and it was just like, man, like how stressful right before you're getting ready to go to an event. So I guess it's just somebody's got to do a job. And
hey, it was the same thing when I fished Vicksburg this year. During day one. They had and they promised me they wouldn't call me unless they really needed, some kind of issue they couldn't figure out, and had to walk them through a couple of things, and it's that's how it is. You gotta pay the bills. I ain't fishing for a living just yet, so somebody got to do it.
Exactly.
Yep.
Got to pay for them boats and toys and electronics.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had the little conversation on our way back home from the tournament, and Charlie said, Julie, which the kids were asleep, they crashed really easily on the road. But he's like, we need to have a talk. I'm like, okay. He's like, I really need live scope.
I like how he put the word need in there. See, that's important. I like that. See, he's got his priorities straight.
Like,
that's why we had that conversation about LiveScape then, huh?
Yeah. He's like, yeah, he heard how so-and-so found this fish and yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, okay. I mean,
honestly, I want it to catch bait. I am not interested in live scoping a catfish. I want it to catch bait just to make the bait catching easier.
And and that's the thing. It really would help a lot with that.
Yeah, luckily for me, I'm pro staff by my local dealership here in town. Holloway Marine. Got to give them a little shout out. And I'm just waiting on the day after the first of the year where I get with my guy at the dealership and say, hey, next time somebody has a Gen 1 Mega Live coming up, about Humminbird unit. Next time somebody has a Gen 1 Mega Live that they're upgrading, holla at your boy.
Yeah, let me know. Hook him guy up.
Let me know. I've got like a list of stuff that like he's on the lookout for me. Like,
yes, your wish list.
Yes, when you get it, don't even ask. Just call me.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody loves bass fishing around here.
Same here. It's bass fishing and crappie, but sac-a-lait fishing. It's the funniest thing because I got monster rod holders across the back of that big boat, and around here they kind of stick out like a sore thumb. And I'll pull up to a gas station and it never fails. Some old guy will come up to my boat, man. He'll look at, oh man, that's a nice boat, and he'll look at those rod holders, and every time they'll say, well, man, it's kind of some big rod holders for some sac-a-lait, huh?
You're like,
no, that's for big catfish. That's not for sac-a-lait. It's a hilarious conversation every time.
Yeah, that's fun.
Well, we really appreciate you being on here. We've kept you over. Thank you for chatting with us.
No problem at all. I mean, it's an honor. I love doing these live shows. I kind of missed the little deal I had with Roger. So it's cool coming up and talking to everybody, and especially in front of a new crowd. It's a great thing.
Right. Yep.
Yes, I'm so glad
you're able to come down there and take a trip with you.
Yes, absolutely. Hit me up, Creole's Guide Service. We got a website. Everybody knows me on Facebook, Messenger. Send a smoke signal if you got to. Hit us up.
Love it. Well, it's been fun. I appreciate you.
Yep.
Hey, no problem.
Here we go.
Thank y'all ladies for having me.
It's scrolling at the bottom here, but the backcountry hunters and anglers, the Bourbon Bands and Public Lands event is this weekend down in Kentucky. So if anybody is free and looking for something to do, this is a conservation event. They're trying to bring people together to show them their efforts that they're making in Kentucky for our catfish too. So be sure to check them out.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys for watching.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.